And good morning, everyone. My name is Rosemary Kunene. I am a former resident of Direct Provision, and currently I'm based in Montrath, and I'm a founder of Dignity Partnership. With me here, I have three young gentlemen, Pedram, Hamza, and Abdullah. Today, we're going to have a panel discussion of their experience in the Gaisce Awards. So they're going to talk about their journey, how they found it, if there was any other challenges or any interesting things that they would like to share with everyone here. So I am going to let them introduce themselves and also let us know at what stage of the Gaisce Awards they're on. Is it silver or is it bronze? So I'm going to start with you, Pedro, to just introduce.
Hey everyone, I'm Pedram, originally from Iran. I'm 18 years old and I'm a living certificate student. And I finished my bronze medal back in transition year, and I'm doing the silver at the moment.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Pedram. I'm going to go to Abdullah.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you very much for
Hi,
this wonderful opportunity. My name is Abdullah Mansouri. I'm originally from Freetown, Sierra Leone, and I've been here in Ireland for over 2 years now, and I'm a second year student studying applied addiction and community development with IT Kalu. Yeah, I just finished my bronze. I'm looking forward for the silver. Thank you.
Wow, that's very interesting. I did that course and I loved it. I hope you're loving it too.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Now, quickly, I'll go to Hamza.
So my name is Hamza, and I'm a second year computer science student at University College Cork. I started my Gaisce Award back in April 2020, and I will probably finish it by the April 2021, which is next month. Quite optimistic, and I'm looking forward to it. And then I might go for gold as well later if I want to. Yeah, I will think about it though. Yeah, it really depends on the situation, to be honest.
Wow. Okay. I would love to hear more on that as we go into the questions. So, my first question is going to go to you, Abdullah, and I will call each one of you to also answer. So, why did you decide to go on the Gasket journey, and like how did it come about? Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. Interestingly, I got to know about Gasket because I love browsing through the internet. So fortunately enough, I got some information about Gasket, and I read about it. Then I said, oh, this can be so cool for me because, being an asylum seeker here and you just talk in the hostel without doing anything. So I was just looking for ways where I can, be involved in and get myself, doing something, very beneficial. So I got in contact with them. I sent an email. Luckily enough, they responded, but like they asked me where I stayed, and I told them that I'm in Longford, and so that sort of communication started through email. Then I was asked, to contact the youth service, the youth center here, which I'm part of, and I got in touch with the coordinator here at Sirajin. So the Sirajin was, so happy, and she contacted Gasket, and since then, we all hook up, and that was great. I was so happy, Then we had a trip to Dublin, and the introduction and all. And fortunately, and most importantly, that day was my birthday, and I was surprised with 2 huge cakes and a little party. So it was quite fun.
Wow. Wow, that's really interesting. So let's hear from Pedram. Why did you decide to start the Gasket?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, I didn't have much information on the Gaisce when I was starting it, but it was as part of the transition year program, and that's pretty much what I've how this came about. Like, so we had coordinator at our in transition year, and he suggested that we should do it, and that's how I got to know Gaisce. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And yourself, Hamza?
Yeah, so I heard about Gaisce back in when I was in the secondary school and back in fifth year, to be honest. At that time, I discovered that there is something called Gaisce, which is presidential award. So at that time, it really sounded so interesting, and I saw it as an opportunity to engage and get to know people, and also in a different activities. So once you have like a perspective to get involved in something, I suppose, then it becomes much easier for you instead of just keep thinking, oh, I might do this, might do that. So I saw it as a great opportunity to get involved, but due to pressure back in the Leaving Cert and in a different education system, and I really didn't. I was like, how will I manage if I get involved? So I kind of like postponed it. I was like, maybe after the Leaving Cert, because at that time I had an urge to do medicine in University College Cork, but somehow I ended up in computer science because I was a bit short on points. So, but I'm happy with it. So while putting in all the work and stuff like that, it was really pressured to be getting engaged in the Gaisce Award. But then when I joined UCC, at that time I discovered the Gasket came back again in my life, and I was like, okay, now we have an opportunity to get into it. But at that time, it was like a COVID situation, and I think I received an email and I get to know the Wavelength project and stuff like that, and that's when I was like, okay, we'll go for silver directly. But I was like, we never knew that COVID will really go that long, that it would be an endless loop. We never knew that. So I was like, okay, I will just start it. And it was April 2020, and I was like, okay, we'll start it, and then we'll see how it goes. But then the lockdown came in, and then we just kept on working that way. Yeah. So it was quite difficult, but that's how I kind of like discovered Gaisce at the end of the day.
Wow, that's really interesting to find that it was just out of your own interest that you wanted to join the Gaisce.
Yeah.
So my next question to you is, how would you explain your journey, and what has been the highlight so far, considering that you were interested in it, and maybe you had your own expectations, were they met?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, I would love to talk about this now. Yeah, so since it all started, we never knew that. I personally expected that there might be some of it in the lockdown, and then the COVID might go away. We never expected the UK variant to come in and kind of be dominated all over the world. But at that time, like, so what I selected for my Gaisce Award was the physical activity was just bit of a gym work, expecting that gyms might open, and the personal skill was like repairing stuff and get to know about the underlying infrastructures and architects in the computer systems, and develop personal skills in that. And yeah, and there was one more community involvement, which was quite difficult one. At first, like when I was thinking about that, I was considering it to be a daunting task, but then I was like, okay, we'll engage in it. Like we like this is the opportunity. Like we never got a chance. I never got a chance back in the secondary school, but now I'm in college, and there is a bit of a less pressure as compared to the Leaving Cert. So I started, but the most hardest one for me personally was the community involvement, because considering the restrictions with the COVID-19, there wasn't. It was quite difficult to get involved in the community and carry out certain activities in any community. But then there was this Gaisce at Home campaign that I came to know about, and there was some stuff that you can be doing at home and which can be seen as being involved in the community. Like, for example, the best what I could have done at that time, and I did at that time, was just getting some grocery stuff for the elderly people who can't really go to the stores and stuff. So I was like, okay, this is the community involvement, and this was actually recommended by Shanaz. So I was like, okay, this is quite good thing, and I can do this. And then after that, when the restrictions were a bit eased back in 2020, then there was this UCC Aikido club that I was involved in back in first year, and then I ended up becoming a captain. So we used to have like some different like kind of gatherings, like not large gatherings, of course, but so that's where we were like kind of like practicing bit of Aikido and stuff like that. And so I changed my community involvement to that back in 2020, but then again restrictions kicked in, and then I was like, okay, we'll switch back now. And then there was the gym part. The gym part was like there's a small tea room in this provision center, and I normally work out there almost every day. And I was like, okay, gyms are closed. There is no really choice. I borrowed equipment from a couple of friends before the lockdown, and I still have it. And it was quite difficult overall to do activities and everything. And I'm expecting Gaisce Award next month, so I'm very close to finish it. So overall, like what I would say personally, like what my personal comment on the journey is, because of the COVID-19, it was quite difficult, but at the same time, it was also interesting. So like the skills that I personally developed was also like, oh, it was also related to my course, especially in building high definition gaming PCs and stuff like that. So it was, to me, it was something like new to discover. And of course, I had to do it at home because we cannot be engaged in any gatherings or anything at the moment. But but I would say now there is also the adventure journey that we have to do at the end of the Gaisce Award, and I
Yeah.
was quite optimistic to kind of like do it. But that was the most. That is like the whole, like the most interesting part. That's like the chocolate at the end of the ice cream. So, but unfortunately, because of the ongoing situation, I personally don't think that that if there would be any adventure journey like that, because that is the best opportunity that I think is available at the moment to get like to be engaged and get to know people, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so that is overall journey of me, but it was interesting and daunting at the same time, but I'm really looking forward to finish it. Yeah. And then I also have like I aspire to go for the golden award, but the thing with that is it really depends on the situation. Like if it really gets to aced and something like that, then I might go for it. And yeah, it's another, I think, 52 weeks. But again, we will see. If the COVID restrictions are there, then I'm definitely going for the cold as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much on my journey. Yeah.
Wow, I like the way you're saying things. It really shows that you're really interested in what you're doing in the Gaisce Awards. And isn't it amazing how oftentimes as people, we're always afraid of doing things. And once we take the first step, we come up to say, oh no, it wasn't that difficult. You know, I'm saying this because of what you said. You're afraid of like community involvement to like, okay, what am I going to do? But there you found yourself way out and
Yeah.
you found it very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would go to Pedram, and knowing that you said it was suggested to you by your TY, is it TY? Yeah,
Yes,
when you're
absolutely.
doing
Yeah,
your
TY.
TY.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you know, sometimes when things are being suggested to us, we always see the negative and the bottom, and sometimes we see the positives and enjoy it. So yourself, are you happy that someone suggested for you to go on the Gaisce? So tell us your journey and what has been the highlights so far, and maybe also the challenges that you face.
Yeah. So my bronze journey was, done in transition years. So I finished the bronze in the transition year. And for the community involvement, I had the first aid. For my physical recreation, I had a football training with my voluntary organization, which is called Sports Against Racism Ireland. And the new skills being learned was, a computer, but beginning computer for beginners, just, the coding and this sort of things. And yeah, that was all done, as I said, in transition year. And the highlight, I suppose, of the bronze journey was, the adventure journey. So I had the opportunity to, go to that adventure journey right before the COVID and everything else. and it was very fun. We were in Glendalough for a night, and I was with our classmates, and which is really fun. So yeah, we went for a hike there, and then yeah, that was the highlight of the bronze. And few weeks, I think, after that, I decided to go for the silver one, and I was lucky to get community involvement in there to go and work in a local charity shop. I think it was right before this whole COVID thing as well kicked in as well. So I was really lucky to get there, and then physical recreation. I still do football training with my voluntary organization, Sports Against Racism Ireland. And for the new skills, I do a new language, which is Spanish. I do is French in school, and I do Spanish for a new language. And to say the challenges, I suppose, as Hamza said, I suppose really because of COVID, when I'm working in the charity shop, it's you know, like back then it was, I think, level three we were or something like that. So we were able to go there and work in the charity shop. But then a few weeks after that, the level five restriction came in, and the charity shop has to be closed. And I suppose that's the main challenge. I cannot see any other challenges, to be honest with you. That's mostly the biggest challenge. And
Wow.
yeah, and for I think you asked for the positives about the Gaisce. I think you asked earlier as well. So I think, doing this whole Gaisce journey, as Hamza I think mentioned as well, you get the opportunity to engage with people, with people that you don't even know or something like that. You get to, talk to them and know them. But as well as that, I think, you could people doing that could develop their soft skills, such as interacting with others in a team, I suppose, and communicating with them. Like for me personally, I did my work experience back in TY as well, but the charity gave me more skills to develop, communication. I'm interacting with customers, managers, and staff all the time. So this is very good for your future as well, I suppose, when you go on to work in a business or company or whatever job you're going to be working in. I think that's the main, positive about this whole Gaisce.
Wow, wow. Actually, when I was hearing you speaking, I was just wishing like I was young again, so that I could also go for the adventurous journey.
Yeah.
Going to Glenlock, I would love to spend the night there. So, yeah, and also hearing that getting soft skills, and which is very important for personal development.
Yeah.
And I would go. Thank you so much for that, Pedro.
No problem at all.
I will now go to Abdullah. As you were searching and looking for something, I hope you're now fulfilled. Like you found what you were looking for. So just tell us, how was your journey, and what are the highlights and any challenge that you experienced?
Thank you very much, Wazi. And I must say well done to Pedro and Hamza. Like for me, the Gaisce has been, such a blessing, to be honest, because, prior to me signing up to Gaisce, I was really doing some, community work here in Longford. And in 2019, prior to me going for Gaisce, I was selected as a volunteer ambassador here in Longford. But like Gaisce, got me to that point where, I wasn't thinking about like I should have been in church, places or meeting church people in authority. But through the help of Gaisce Award, I was able to, meet some quite a few, people in authority, which I'm very much grateful for. And I choose personally, based on the physical recreation, I choose football because I love football so much. And and the community work, of course, as I said, I was involved in some community work here in Longford, and the new skill, I choose cooking because, living in direct provision is quite challenging, and as a young man, I didn't know how to cook, and that was a huge part of me. So based on the physical education, it helped me to a point that, I got to know, so much, other lads here in Longford, because, we meet together and, we all love football, including, some of the lads here in the hostel, and the community work also. I think this is the highlight for me, in a sense that, when we went to Dublin for the introduction, and, it was, there we started, chatting about, us trying to see how best we can, create a resident support group here in the hostel. And, after, we came back, that sort of thing it triggers me a lot. So I spoke with, a few other lads that are also doing the Gasket. So we came together and see how best we can make that happen. So luckily and thankfully, we created the resident support group here in Longford, and that has been, a blessing. And the purpose of that resident support group was to see how best we can, help residents here in Longford to, get the necessary support, the resources available around here in Longford. And that was a huge, challenge for residents here, because when you're being transferred here in Longford, they will just give you a key, this is your room, and those sort of things. So there was nothing in place. As we all know, asylum seekers, it's really tough. And considering we are just, all males hostel, we are all males and adults, it's quite tough for us. So there was not much support. So what we did was to see how best we can, coordinate and see how best we can help us residents, to see how best we can, partner with other resources available. Like we try to, the counseling stuff was a big part, because people are going through so much, this mental health stuff and, stuff like that. So, and also we try to see how best, when you're being transferred to Richmond Court as a new person, as a new guy, we try to see how best we can help you with, GP registration, social welfare, counseling, the youth center, volunteering, and some people English is not their first language. So we see how best we can coordinate with the LWETB to see how best, they can be offered free English classes. So that's what we've been doing. And, it came to a point, and thankfully also now I think more than 95% of us residents with valid, work permit, they have a job now through the help of the resident support group, because we try to see how best we force, people, we advocate and, take their CVs to these employers and all that. So we just see how best we can, help out ourselves, because that was a huge thing. And also the challenging part of it, as my colleagues have all said, the other participants, Hamza and Pedro, is about COVID. I think COVID was a huge thing, though it has a win and lose situation, but we had to change, most of our event, like the football. We can't go for football. So some of us, we have to change football to, some other physical exercise, like, press up, sit up and all that. And also with the new skill also, as I was saying, about the cooking stuff, I had to learn. Obviously, I have no option. So I went through it, and thankfully now I can, I can cook something. Though I'm not perfect, but I can cook something that I can live on. And also we are looking for the adventure trip, and that was a huge thing for us. Like, we are so eager about the trip, and but due to COVID, that's a huge thing that it can happen for the meantime. So, and I think also one of the issues that because what we did was to create the group and see how best we can relate to each other, was in the aspect of privacy apart from COVID, because seeing ourselves as asylum seekers, you've been stuck in a single room with other maybe 3-4 other colleagues, and there's not much privacy to do your own stuff and all that. So we consider that as a huge challenge also. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Abdullah. And I think we have a chef in making here. I would say, would you take up becoming a chef?
For myself, yeah, for myself. I don't
Oh,
think.
a chef for yourself. Oh, interesting, interesting. But I'm delighted to hear from all of you, and the fact that what you have done is not only benefiting yourselves, but you're taking it out there, and it's also making an impact on the community. And I'm just going to continue with yourself, Abdullah. I think you have mentioned a bit about the challenges that you have faced because of the COVID-19, the restrictions. So I don't know, is there any way that how has this COVID pandemic, how has it affected you in pursuing your Gaisce Award? Has it affected you in any way?
Yeah, of course, as I was saying, we had to change, most of the things that we sign up to, but it has been a help also for me, personally, because it's something that is a point that I had to do a self-reflection on myself and see how, where I'm going, and, those sort of, because when COVID wasn't here, and, I was doing a lot of stuff, I have so many stuff to do, so I didn't have that much time with myself. So I think with COVID, I had that, personal reflection to see how, where I'm going and what I want to achieve and where am I, and, those sort of progression for me to do a self, evaluation and self-assessment. So yeah, I think it has been a balanced thing, like, but yeah, it has also been a huge challenge for us, because we consider the community work and the aspect of the resident support group as the highlight and as the most important thing for us. And with the emergence of COVID, we can't do that much, like.
Yeah, okay. So how about yourself, Hamza? How has the COVID affected your experience?
Well, I personally would say, well, in the light of the whole situation, considering COVID has completely changed the way Gashka was before. So, like one of the main challenges was to kind of like get involved in certain activities that you can't do at home. For example, let's say community involvement. The reason the community involvement, what I personally think was like formed just because for the people so they can like engage and interact with others and like develop skills in a way while being engaged with some other people. But this was one of the community involvement for me was one of the big challenges in this whole journey. And rest of it was quite all right. But since the COVID since the COVID started back in 2020, so just before the start of it, there was a bit of positive experience of Kashka. So I was so excited. Oh, we'll get engaged into this. And but eventually, when there was some stronger restrictions came in, that's where it kind of like all changed. So we were like, okay, now we're looking at Gatka quite differently, and we were like, okay, so we can't really do some stuff. So it was mostly the home base, that the remote part of it, like the home part of it. That's what was the most challenging for me personally was. Yeah. So if there was no COVID, if it was all like the way it should be, then I would say the Gashka is one of the great thing to get involved in. And yeah, that is pretty much yeah, that's what I would like to say about it, about the main challenges.
Thank you. So, and then Pedram yourself, just quickly, I'm conscious of time. Quickly, what would be like, how has the Gaisce experience, how has the COVID affected your Gaisce experience?
Yes, I'll be on the same line on Hamza and Abdullah. So as I mentioned earlier as well, like back then I used to work kind of consistently week in and week out for the charity shop, And then, but it was in level 3 restrictions, and we were allowed to work there. But then level 5 kicked in, and we're just not doing it anymore. So I think that's the main challenge that COVID kind of put on the whole Gaisce journey. And I think Hamza mentioned earlier as well, it's looking very unlikely that we be doing an adventure journey at the end of this. That I think it's a bit, it's kind of pity, because you work kind of hard for all the community involvement and everything to kind of enjoy the adventure journey. But yeah, as I say, it's looking unlikely because of the whole pandemic thing. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much. So to you again, Pedro, if you know someone who is living, a resident in direct provision, or someone in the asylum process, or a person with a refugee status, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, so I was a refugee myself once, and when you come to a new country, you don't know much people in there. So I think what my advice would be, if someone's new to the country, absolutely do, because you'll get to know more people, which is good, because you'll make friends quickly. But as well as that, as I mentioned earlier as well, you develop soft skills. You develop like teamwork skill, communication skills, interaction with others in a business. All of these skills are all the things that business and companies look for. It's kind of prepares you for the real world there. So you'll kind of get a first-hand experience of what's the working life is like. So that's my advice to them. Definitely do it. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you so much. And Abdullah, if you were to advise someone in the asylum system or someone with refugee status, what would you say? Just a short sentence.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've already keep doing. Absolutely, I think Gasket is something that is worth going for, and because it's like like it's a personal development for you, as Pedro was saying, and also it's good for integration. We are all new in this country, so I think it's one of the best ways just to go in for Gasket, and with that you have the opportunity to meet new people and integrate to society. So I do believe absolutely 100% is something that I will recommend to any asylum seeker, refugee, or migrants.
Oh, do I start? Okay, so the three main aspects of Gaisce is like equality, diversity, and inclusion. So as Pendram and Abdullah mentioned, I personally think as well that they should definitely, anyone who knows about Gaisce should definitely do it. Just do it. Because once you start, if you keep thinking that you want to do it, then there will be some other stuff that might come and pop in the way, and you'll be like, oh, I'll start later, just like the thing that happened with me. So if you get an opportunity to get engaged in something like that, you should definitely do it. It is not only like developing your personal skills and communication skills and your inclusion in the community, but it's also something really good to have on the CV. So let's say if you're applying for a job somewhere and you can show this, okay, this was a 52-week program that I was involved in. And it really shows the employer that your commitment to some kind of program or something that might develop your skills. And it's a good way to kind of like get to know people and also to know about different aspects of life in Ireland. And also like there's a lot in Gaisce and to explore for people. Like it's completely like exploring a different planet. And yeah, so if there is somebody who want to get involved and who's willing to get involved, and Gaisce is a great opportunity for them. And I would say they should definitely do it.
But guys, thank you so much. So in conclusion, I see we've taken much of the time than we were allocated to, but it was really interesting to hear from you. So in conclusion, I'm going to ask just one word from each one of you, just to summarize your experience, just one word. So I'll start with you, Hamza. One word.
Just a word or a sentence?
Word.
Oh, okay, like a word to kind of like to describe Gaisce, is it?
Yes, one word.
Okay, let me think of it now.
Okay, I'll give you a chance to think.
Okay, give me a chance to think.
Yeah, give it a chance. Who is ready? Hands up if you're ready, if you have your word. Okay, Abdullah, go on.
Grateful.
Grateful?
Yeah.
All
Grateful.
right.
Something that I'm grateful of.
Perfect. Pedro, one word.
I suppose I could. There's many words to describe it, but I think the main one, I suppose, I could say teamwork. I suppose. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Hamza, one word.
Inclusion.
Inclusion. That's really interesting. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your input. It was really interesting to know, and what I've come out with this is that Gasket has been very inclusive to you guys, and you've learned a lot of soft skill, and you'd encourage everyone out there, a young person, to take part in the Gaisce Awards. And I would say thank you so much. And thank you to Sanas for having us here. We really appreciate. Thank you. And I wish you all the best in future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanas. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
And thanks, Hamza and Pedro.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.